Hello, hello, everyone. So we are live for another Boss Teacher Live on a fabulous Monday, the second Monday of the new year. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking about the one simple tweak you need to be making in your business to really show up authentically for your audience, to get more visibility, to get your audience to know, like, and trust you more, which ultimately is going to lead to more sales. All right. So, what's up, everybody? Let's see what's going on in the chat. We're going to be here for about, let's say, another 20 minutes or so. And I'm going to be sharing with you all of the just some very important things that a lot of people don't always take into consideration when they are building up their brand and their presence on social media. So stick around for that. You know, as always, I come here with just amazing value every single night. And definitely tonight is no different. I'm going to be sharing with you a ton of value, and I expect that you're going to implement and take action and just sell more of your products and services. So let me see who is watching us in the chat. Hey, I see people are already on. Just type in the chat and let me know where you're watching from tonight. Well, it's night where I am. It's 7 p.m. at night in Jamaica, Eastern Standard Time. All right, so we have Naturally on a Budget. Hi. Hello, who else is watching? I see you guys. I just don't see you in the chat. I'd love to connect with you. I know exactly where you're watching from. Hi, Naturally on a Budget. Where are you watching from? And is it night where you are? Like, it's really, really dark outside. Y'all hear my kids? The kids are tearing down the house in the background. Oh my goodness. This is hilarious. All right, so let's jump right into things. All right. So I basically shared on social media. Let me just fix this before I continue. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, so I basically shared on my page that there are very, very few of you who are doing this one particular thing. And what you don't understand is the power of making this simple shift in your business. And this simple shift is going to enable you to make way more sales in your business. All right. And this is it. But let me start off by asking you this question. And if you can't answer it, can, but I'm eventually going to give you the answer anyway. But when you think of people like Will Smith, when you think of the likes of Usain Bolt, Oprah, Helen, even though she's kind of not the most popular person anymore. When you think of Lisa Nichols, and if you are in this space where you're really gathering motivational information, you should know the name Lisa Nichols. So when you think of those individuals, what is the one thing that you think of that is really similar among all of those individuals? Just take a moment to think about it. And I want to challenge you to really find it out. There's Lisa Nichols, there's Oprah, there's Will Smith, there's Usain Bolt. Yes, the first thing I'm pretty sure you're going to think about is they are all celebrities. And definitely, yeah, that's why I mentioned them, because I wanted to find people who I think you would definitely know off the top of the bat when I mention their name. But if you think about every single one of those names that I called, right, you can at least think about a story that is connected with each and every one of them. Right? Am I right or am I right? So you can at least know at least one story, or recall rather at least one story about each of those individuals. The one that stands out for me a lot is Lisa Nichols. And Lisa is a woman that was homeless with her son. She was living on food stamps and all that jazz. She eventually founded herself in an apartment, and she started her business in her closet. She started her business in her closet. She was making calls, getting clients, closing deals from her closet. She was an overweight, depressed woman just trying to build a business and a brand. And if you Google Lisa Nichols today, you are going to realize that she is one of the most powerful Black women in our era, right? She is probably maybe more have come up since, but when she started, she was the only African American woman in the United States to have taken a company public, meaning that she had stocks trading on the stock exchange in the US. She was the only one there. And today, Lisa Nichols, her name is among the greats. Literally, her name is among the greats. So if you don't know who Lisa is, you probably need to know. But Lisa has a story, and she uses her story a lot. If I say Will Smith, I mean, I grew up with Will Smith, like, so I've watched Will Smith grow into the man that he is today, right? So anybody from my era, and if you're even not from my era, if you're younger than me or you're older than me, you still can identify with what his background, how he started as a rapper. He landed this deal with Fresh Prince, and how he transitioned into the huge star that he is today. You think of Usain Bolt, you think about all of the yams that he ate, and the barefoot boy, and the one coach from this little school down in Trelawney. Every single one of those individuals that I mentioned, their story is public, right? You know their story. You can at least identify with something that is a part of their brand, or their upbringing, or something about their background that can really and truly connect with you. And that is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about your authenticity, the real you, and using your story to connect with your audience. Because here's a problem, and why I really think this is very important that I have to talk about it. Because a lot of my clients, when they come to me to create their online courses, they're literally hiding behind this. They're hiding behind their phones, and they're just posting on social media. They're posting quotes from all over the place. You guys are posting little tips. You're posting all kinds of things, and that's all good and well. But when it comes on to really and truly connecting with your audience, you definitely have to highlight your story in some way, shape, or form. What does that do? That shows your audience, the people you are trying to sell your products and service to, especially if you're a service-based business, you're going to have to share your story. It shows your authenticity. It shows that you are real. It shows that people are able to connect with you. Because if people can see the real you, then, I mean, this is something that they know in the back of their head, They know you're human, and they know that you are you, and you have feelings. They know. But until you really say it, they haven't truly believed it, right? So it's always a good thing for you to just be authentic, show up in your true authentic self, and share your story with your audience. Now, I'm not going to say that you're going to get up every single day and talk about what you had this morning, the fight you had with your boyfriend or your partner, or whatever whatever you went through with your family member. No, I'm not talking about that. And I'm gonna eventually get to this. Is one of the things that I'm going to touch on towards the end, how you can find authentic stories from your real life experience to connect with your audience. We're going to get there, but I'm not talking about those everyday or random stuff that happened to you, right? I'm talking about a story that resonates with your audience, a story that they connect with, that they can really get to know the real you. Because here's the thing that is going to help you with. It's going to help with building your level of authenticity. And if you've ever done any study on branding, you know when it comes on to your brand, you in this era of everything being virtual, and in this era when so many people are online, you have to be able to develop that unique brand. And a part of that unique brand is you sharing your experiences, share what you've gone through, and how this applies to your audience. So that covers the whole concept of authenticity. Like, you are a real person, and you want to reinforce that as much as possible to your audience, right? So, like, for example, when I said earlier that, can you guys hear my kids in the background? My 2-year-old is out there creating a riot while I'm trying to do this live, right? Now, most people will hide that, and they're probably like going crazy in their heads right now to say, oh my God, why can't this 2-year-old be quiet? Shh, I'm trying to do a live. Oh my God, the live is going to be ruined. And just continue a big fuss in their own heads about it. call it out for what it is. Hello, I'm a mom, my kids are here, life still has to go on, this life has to happen, right? So when you connect a simple thing like that, as simple as that is something that can connect with your audience, because a single mother might be watching, right? A parent might be watching, and they're thinking in the back of their heads, you know what, I can't do video because my kids are always running around and I don't have any quiet space. Hello, you're doing a live, put the child on your lap and do the live. Let people see the real you and show the world that you have the same struggles that they are experiencing too. They are able to connect with you and relate to you so much better when they see the real you and who you really are. I've had my 2-year-old on my lap doing lives already. Even my son, he's now 7. When he was younger, he used to be in a lot of my videos, and it does not take away from the value of the content that you are sharing in your videos and you're sharing to your audience. Like, I've been teaching class, and I've had my kids, like, I remember I had a master class with student that paid good money to come and get me to teach them, right? And one afternoon, my husband came home from work late, and so the kids had to be there in the office with me. They're on the ground watching whatever. And I said to them, guys, when they came on, I said, listen, guys, we have a little babysitting situation today. If you hear any cartoony noise in the background, that's just my kids. Daddy isn't home yet. And we move on with the class, right? It doesn't take away from the value that you have to give, right? Because you're having these little issues. It just shows people how authentic you are. It shows individuals that you are a real human and you have the, like I said, you have the same struggles, and they can connect with you even more. Now, the other thing it helps with is that it helps with your KLT factor. And what is your KLT factor? Your KLT factor, and this is an acronym, and if you want to write this down, write this down. The K is for know, the L is for like, and the T is for trust. So you know, you like, and your trust factor. So the know, like, and trust factor is something that we talk about a lot online, where if you want to expose your business, your products and services, and you want to expose brand you in such a way that it gets your audience to know you, and in knowing you, they get to like you a little bit more, like the value that you bring, like your style, like your flair, like your personality, like whatever about you. And it draws them into your products and services. And that's a like. And the T is because they now know you, you give them an opportunity to like you. Now they have gotten to the stage where they trust you enough to spend their money with you. And that's where you want to take them to the T. You want to take them from just being somebody following you on social media, somebody on your email list, to that T. You want to get them to know you, to like you, and to trust you enough to spend their money with you. And that's how you convert them into a client, by giving them that know, like, and trust factor. Now, let me just share you my own experience with this whole sharing much of me, is that I have had individuals who come to me because I can get quirky. I'm a little bit nasal right now, so I'm like, I'm not as hype as I normally am on Monday night. But persons have come on these lives, and I've had discovery session, coaching calls with individuals, and I've had clients say to me, Julia, one of the things I like about you is that you're so real. Like, you're just so real. That those are the words that people use. You're just down to earth, like, and you're very authentic. Those are some of the words I get from my clients when I'm having these conversations with them. One lady said to me, she just loved the fact that I giggle so much. and I just, like, that alone lights up the whole experience for her. Because if you don't know already, I love to smile. It's just something I can't control it. I love to smile and I love to giggle, right? And so one lady in particular found that very, just it drew her in, and we eventually ended up on a coaching call together. So just being you are gonna attract the right people who like you for you. And being fake, you can only be fake for so long, like, for real. And on top of that, people can easily spot a fake. And people can always duplicate your business model. People can always duplicate your products, especially online. People will steal buy your products and steal it and sell it to their audience, right? People can look at your services and duplicate it and tweak it and call it their own, but they can never duplicate this. And this is why you have to just consistently share from an authentic place, share the real you so that people can connect with you for you, and they can use that to differentiate you from the competition, right? People literally, people will buy from people because they like you more. I kid you not. I've heard that so over and over, and I've even done that in myself. In making a purchase, I have two potential, what do you call them, suppliers in front of me, and I'm trying to decide, do I buy product A from this person or product B from this person? And I ended up buying from product B. Why? Because I just like product the person behind product B more, right? And think about your own shopping experience, how you've made decisions to buy things in the past. Has that ever happened to you? Have you really just gone out and bought something? And I want to hear the answer to this question in the chat. Have you really gone out and bought something from a supplier just because you like X person more than you like Y? That is something that happens every single day. And so for you now, how this is applicable to you, because I'm scrolling through a lot of your profiles. Like, I know a lot of you follow me. Sometimes I scan through some of these profiles on Instagram and on different platforms and so on. And I'm not seeing any personality coming out. And one of the things that I teach inside of my program, if you have nothing else to share, share a selfie. And share that story behind the selfie, because when people see the story behind the selfie, and I give the whole format of how to write that, the caption using a particular format. I give them the format and I said, share the story, use this format to share the story behind that selfie, because what you will find is that people are going to read the caption, they're going to connect with you, and then you start to develop that know, like, and trust factor, because they're going to read the caption and they're like, oh, but I didn't know that about Julia. I didn't know that about Tanisha. I didn't know that about Suzanne, right? And she said, oh, but Suzanne is just in the back of their head. They might not say it, but their brain is processing it this way. But Suzanne is just like me. And when somebody can find another person to say, oh, this person is just like me, it draws them in just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And every time you share, you draw them in just a little bit more. So by the time they are ready to buy, you are at top of mind for them. And so don't be afraid to share you. Don't be afraid to share you. So let me share with you just a few tips about how you can infuse your authenticity into your marketing, right? So if you have an email list, do the same thing. If you are just posting on social media, do the same thing. And if you don't have an email list, get an email list. I'm just telling y'all, just get an email list. Just trust me on it. The money is in the list. You will sell more via email than you will ever do on social media. So make sure you start getting a list. So whether you have an email list or you're just posting on social media, this is how you can infuse your authenticity into your marketing. And I'm saying this specifically because I realize that the top earners within my space, and I have to talk about the people I'm connected with, are the people who are sharing authentically. I can tell you that. And that's why I say like 10% of entrepreneurs do this, because the majority of people are afraid to put themselves out there because they're afraid of being judged, which is not, it is going to happen. It will, but it's the minority that is going to judge you. The majority of people are going to connect with you. And once you're putting yourself out there, it's it's guaranteed that people are going to not agree with what you're saying, don't like your skin color, don't like your hair, don't like how your voice sounds, don't think you smile too much. All of those things. Those people are going to be out there, but they are the minority, right? So the majority of people who are going to like you for you are going to see through your authenticity and connect with you. And so this is how you're going to infuse your authenticity in your marketing, right? You're going to think about, and this is where you're going to write stuff down, guys. you're going to think about what aspect of your story, and your story is coming from your experiences. In my program, I talk about the signature story. So if you need a full explanation of what the signature story is, you have to join my course vault program. But think about what aspect of your story relates to the product or the service that you're selling, right? So for example, my target audience is teachers. I'm going to talk about my teacher experience and how I transitioned from the classroom to now earning a full-time income online, right? So that aspect of my story, and I can pull out as many details of that as I want to share with my audience. So every time a teacher hears that story, or hears another variation of that story, or hear different details of that story, they are connecting with me on a deeper and deeper and deeper level. And I find that today, I have so many teachers who are following me, so many teachers who are on my email list. The majority of my clients are teachers, because that is what I continuously share. I share based on the fact that I target teachers, I continuously share that aspect of me. So what aspect of your story? And you have to be very strategic about picking out a specific aspect, because you just don't want to share random things, right? So what aspect of your story relates to the particular product or service that you sell, right? And that also leads me to the other part. What aspect of your story connects directly to your audience, and that this is your niche, your ideal client, right? You must know who your ideal client is. I can't tell you who it is. I can just tell you how to identify your ideal client. But in terms of narrowing it down based on whatever your product or service is, you have to know, define, like clearly and specifically define your ideal clients. And that's one of the things that I cover in my program as well. How do you identify your ideal client? So what aspect of your story is really going to resonate with your ideal client? And you can do multiple variations of it. You can give details here, details there, as many details or as little details as you want, and share that so that your ideal audience can now really connect with you on that level. So one of the examples of that is like the pain to glory story, right? And here's the pain to glory story. So you had like a really rough experience. And this experience, like I said, must be directly related to your product or service, right? You had a really rough experience whenever. And this was the painful experience that is associated with your product or service. And you transitioned from having that painful experience into a glorious experience, basically. So now you've overcome whatever it is that you're going through, and you are able to now testify. As a church girl, I have to use those terms. You're able to now testify of what your victory is, or how you transition from being in that much pain to really overcoming that pain. So that from pain to glory story, right? And find a way to connect that pain to glory story to your ideal audience, and just share, because what's going to happen when you share that story is that your pain becomes their pain, because you really and truly never, when I say never, you never know how many people are really connecting with your story. I heard a story earlier today of somebody that I'm very, very close to, and they were sharing a story that sounded very, very similar to mine. And in sharing her story, I know that she's not the type of person to just share like that. But this is something that we've talked about. Like, we've had conversations. And when I hear her share that story, and that story was like, it cannot be more similar to mine, right? I was like, wow. Just imagine those conversations that we've been having in the past, how much that inspired her to get to where she is today. And I was just happy to see her come out of that pain into her glory. So in connecting with your clients using those kinds of experiences, then you'll definitely be able to attract the right kind of people to you. The final thing I want to share with you before I close out tonight, let me check the time, is, we're right on time. so 5 more minutes, is just to be you. And let me tell you what I mean by just being you. If you cuss, cuss. I'm not for cussing. I'm not for cussing because I'm a church girl. I don't cuss. But if you're the person who, on a normal basis, on a day-to-day basis, and you don't have Jesus, and you want to infuse that into your marketing, by all means, infuse it into your marketing, because the people who cuss are going to find you. If you're ratchet and bougie, normally be ratchet and bougie all the time. That's just who you are. Those people are going to find you. Those people are going to connect with you. Those people are going to love you. And those people are going to be the people who are telling Tom, Dick, Mary, Sue, John about you. When I think about Gary Vee, if you don't know Gary Vee, you can look him up. But Gary Vee, he cusses like every third word. Literally, that's just Gary Vee. But he is one of the most influential marketers of our time. Like Gary Vee, just look up the word Gary Vee and you will see who he is. He's one of the most influential marketers of our time. But he cusses like crazy. He's on a stage and he's cussing. He makes no apologies for cussing. But talk about value. He delivers value between those curse words. So you kind of have to bleep them out in your brain and just take the content for what it is. But that's just him, being authentically who he is. And nobody can discount the value of what he's delivering because that's just who he is. I'm the quirky girl who is always giggling, who's always smiling, who's always very, sometimes I see myself in the screen. I'm like, okay, too many gestures, Julia, pull your hand back a little bit. But that's just who I am. I just have to be moving. I just have to be moving. You understand? So I over gesticulate and I have to rein myself in many times. But the point I'm trying to make is just don't try and hide behind something that you're not. Don't try and pretend to be Julia because you like how Julia, is. Don't try to pretend to be Gary Vee because you like Gary Vee. Don't try and pretend to be somebody else you're not. Because eventually it's going to fall off. Like you're not going to be able to keep it up because it's not you. You can't sustain that character or that persona that you've taken on. So whatever you are, just be it, right? If you're shy, go on camera same way and be shy. You know what people call shy people who are very powerful? Let me tell you the word for that. It's called unassuming. So somebody will see you and they say, she looks very unassuming, but wait till she opens her mouth. That's the shy and powerful person. So you go on stage, you go in front of the camera, you share with your audience, and they'll pick it up that you're shy. They'll see the shyness in you. But if you are delivering value along with your shyness, best believe that you are going to still attract the kind of people that you want to, that you want to be attracted to you, that your ideal customer that we talked about earlier, those people are going to be attracted to you because you're just being you. All right. So before we close off tonight, I just want to ask you this question, and I want you to put it in the chat. What is holding you back? Because I want us to have a little discussion on this before we leave. What is holding you back from being authentically you in front of your audience? Like really, I want to see those comments in the chat. So if I can help one person tonight, that would be awesome. I'm going to be reading the comments and just responding to whatever. What is holding you back from showing up authentically you in front of your audience? You don't just want to be posting quotes, guys. Quotes don't sell. Quotes do not sell. I'm just saying, they really don't, right? You have to be authentic. I mean, yes, of course you're gonna do sales posts. Of course you're gonna say people buy this, buy that. But outside of that, what else are you doing to show up like authentically you in front of your audience so you can build that KLT, that know, like, and trust factor? Like, what is now holding you back? Really, what is it that is holding you back from showing up authentically in front of your audience? I'm waiting for those comments to come in. And let me say this in the meantime. If you really want some help to curate your content, and that's the word I'm going to use, because one of the problems I have is what I see is that people really don't know, outside of posting quotes and posting random things, they don't know what to share on social media. And that's one of the things that holding back a lot of people from making that sale. because you're not sure. Like, you get up today and you're thinking, oh gosh, what do I post today? Tomorrow morning you get up, it's the same thing. Oh gosh, what do I post today? And the cycle just keeps going and going and going, and you're wondering, okay, how do I connect with my audience today? It doesn't have to be that hard. It really doesn't have to be that hard. Posting on social media is easy. You just haven't planned for it. And that's one of the things that you have to do. Even in showing up authentically for your audience, you have to plan it out. You really can't just get up today and decide, oh, let me just post this story. Tomorrow you get up and decide, oh, let me just post this story. No, it has to be targeted. It has to be strategic. And there has to be some kind of plan behind it. Every single thing I do is planned. Everything single thing I do is geared towards a particular goal. There is a strategy behind everything, and I want to teach you how to create that strategy for yourself as well. So here's what I'm going to remind you of: the last Saturday of January, that's January 30, 2021. And if you're watching the replay after the end of January, go to bossteacheracademy.com to get information of how you can get access to the replay. But I'm holding a live class on January 30, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to help you create that plan, that social media plan, to get in front of your audience a lot more, to develop that know, like, and trust factor, and so that you can build that know, like, and trust factor and eventually get them to become clients of yours. Now, when you get people to pay you $10 for a course or a product or a service, that's all good and well. And when you get people to pay you $1,000 for a product, that's even better. Get them to pay you $3,500 for a product. That's way. Get them to pay you 10 grand. Listen, you can charge whatever you want to charge. And believe me, when people trust you, when you get them from the no to the like to the trust, you can get people to pay you whatever you want. Determine your price, and people will pay you simply because of the value that you provide. So if go to bossteacheracademy.com to get access to the class. That's January 30 at 6:30 p.m. And it's only going to be taught once. It's going to be a live class, so you get the opportunity to ask your questions live, I answer them live, we plan things out together live. I show you the 50 odd ideas that I have. I'm going to be sharing those with you. And definitely, you're going to be approaching February with a better social media plan. All right, so any questions on what we shared tonight? And just let me know, really and truly, what is holding you back? What is holding you back from showing up like authentically in front of your audience? What is it really? Is it fear? Here's the thing about fear, because that's the number one thing that persons will say. They're just afraid. They're posting quotes because they don't want to show their face. They're posting quotes because you're afraid people will judge you. There's just a lot of fear behind not showing up. Here's the thing. Be afraid and do it anyway, because you're going to have to think now about the consequences, the repercussions. How is this going to affect my business if I don't show up authentically? How? I know how it's going to show up. You're going to get less sales. And we're not talking about followers here. Followers don't matter. Sales are what matter. We don't count followers, we count receipts, right? So you could have 200 followers and your receipts are way bigger than the people with 1,000 followers. Just know that. So feel the fear and do it anyway. And let me just be truthfully honest with you. You see, once you do it once, it gets easier. You do it the second time, it's easier than the first. You do it the third time, it becomes way easier than the first 2 times. The more you do it, is the less fearful it becomes, the more confident you become in showing up. In recent times, I've been saying this, that my stories are no longer my own, because I personally have realized that my story has the power to transform other people's lives. Because I know it has the power to transform other people's lives, I share it willingly, because that's where the impact is going to come. So feel the fear and do it anyway. All right, so don't let fear hold you back. Just be you, show up as you, and share more of you. So that's the number one strategy that I want to share with you. It really is powerful. I know it's simple, but it really is powerful. And if you begin to do that, you're going to see a major shift, a real major shift in the value of the checks that you change. in the value of the figures and the zeros that come into your account at the end of the month, during the week, and so on. Believe me when I tell you this. All right, so let me see if there are any questions. No questions coming in. All right, so we'll jump back on here again next week, Monday. Next week, Monday, we have a very special guest that is going to be joining us. We're going to talk a lot more about online courses. So remember to join every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bossteacherlive.com, or just hop on over to YouTube channel and we'll be here. All right, so that's it for now, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see each other on social media. All right, bye.